Hello, everybody. It's Susie Q96, and I'm back to sorting out all the loose change from my desk. I see John Jacobs. Hey, John, how are you? This is just a sorting out all these bazillions of coins. I'm going to try to get some of them back to the bank. Some of them I know I absolutely don't need, and I have a jar here. I'm gonna take this stuff back to the bank after I get it sorted. Some of these are really nasty, and I'm not even gonna attempt to do anything with them. I don't know what the heck that is, but it's going back to the bank. That's what it is. Hey, Scratcher, how are ya? Yeah, this is just me hanging out, sorting some more coins. I got so many. I found those 4 boxes full of pennies and all kinds of loose change. One of them metal detector boxes. Yeah. Yeah, I got a mess here, that's for sure. You wait till you see some of these. They are really grubbed. I mean, they're not. Some of them I can't even read the dates on, and I can tell just by looking at them that there's something that I dug up out of the ground. But it'll give you a lovely insight into, yeah, people like to make that argument all the time about you shouldn't clean coins. Well, what are you going to do when you got that? I mean, seriously, that coin has no monetary value past the penny that it is. And even that may be debatable. Oh, here we go again with the trolls. I'm really tired of you trolls. I'm telling you, you're pissing me off today. I am so tired of being on troll patrol. Somebody may have already got that one. Thank you, John. Sometimes I forget I have mods in here. And yeah, see, this is another example of something that I'm pretty sure I pulled out of the ground. I think it's a 60 something, but it's a useless. Other than being copper, it really has no value. And I just have stacks and stacks of this stuff. A lot of it just needs to go back to the bank and off my desk. So that's what I am attempting. And some of them I have some empty penny books. Yeah, I bet you are tired. That auction went on for a while. I did go peek in, but I didn't say anything and then I was on the phone talking to Dawn the Detector for a little while, and then talking to my brother, and then I fell asleep in my chair. So I woke up and I just thought it was a little too soon to go to bed, because when I go to bed that early, what usually ends up happening is I wake up about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I can't go back to sleep. And I end up like on somebody's stream, like Deadpool, or somebody that stays up all night, handy Andy, and then I never do get back to sleep. And so about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then I'm useless. So I'm trying to get my sleep cycle more back to normal, and one of the ways that I have to do that is to try to stay up a little bit later to make sure I sleep through the night. So I figured, well, might as well sort some more coins. Try to get them ready to go to the bank, or some of them are probably going to end up in some of the giveaways. I have found some that some folks might actually be interested in putting in books. Now I've lost my pen. There it is. All right. We'll get focused here eventually. I forgot what I had there. 75. Only reason I'm putting that in a bag is just to double check and see if it's needed in a book. If it's not, then it will end up going back to the bank or in my copper jug. I don't really know what to do with the copper ones. When I save them, I don't know what to do with them. So they'll probably end up going back to the bank too, unless I find somebody that just wants rolls of copper pennies. I'm really not going to hold on to anything later than the 70s unless it's an S or an 82, 83, because I do need to check those for something. There's a 62D. Got a bunch of them in a bag. Like I said, this is just probably going to be one of the most boring streams in the history of the world, but this is the way my microscope works best for me. The software that came with it isn't as good as the StreamYard, and so I figured, well, I might as well do it this way. Yeah, see, here's a prime example of a zinkin that's been in the ground. I mean, they're in the dirt and you dig them up, and I mean, they're not even recognizable. This one, you can sort of see the Lincoln Memorial on the back, but you know, the worst coin ever made by the United States Mint were the zinc pennies. They just are useless. There's another one that clearly was in the ground. Junk, junk, and junk. Like I said, I found this one container I'm pretty sure is nothing but metal detected pennies. I find a lot of pennies. I have one friend, he won't even dig if, oops, that didn't go in there, but it's there. Anyway, he won't even dig if he thinks the number is the penny, but I have a different attitude, and my attitude is money is money. And even though these pennies are ugly as heck, they add up. I mean, last year I know I had $50 in pennies. You know, would you throw away a $50 bill? Probably not. So to me, it's all money. And so sometimes he'll tell me, hey, I was over at so and so and I left a bunch of pennies. And I'll go out there and dig up what he left, and I'll end up with $3, $4. Well, $3, $4 several times a month, that adds up. I'm on Social Insecurity. I'll take all the money I can get. I'm not fussy about the denomination. 68D. Wait a minute. I can't tell sometimes if it's my eyes that are blurry or if it's actually the coin. I'll be so glad when they fix my little eyeballs. I gotta Tom asked, what metal detector do I use? I have a Nocta Macro Simplex Plus, or as we like to call it, the poor man's Equinox. I absolutely love my Simplex. I used to have, well, I started out with and still own a $40 Bounty Hunter Gold Digger. And I keep that little cheap detector because it seems like whenever I go out to a park, I have kids that are fascinated with the idea of metal detecting, and I don't want to give them my good detector to try out. But by the same token, I do want to encourage kids to take up detecting. So I carry that little bounty hunter with me, and the kids can't really hurt it. It's pretty much just, dig whatever it beeps on. And truth be told, I found my first gold ring with that detector. So, as cheap and crappy as it is, it serves a purpose. And like I said, I did find my very first gold ring with it. So, then I have another detector. I can't even remember what it is. It belonged to my brother. And I have not had the opportunity yet to try it out. I know it was made by First Texas. I just can't remember the brand on it because it was originally branded for Kellyco. But I have all the book and everything for it. I just have not had the opportunity to take it outside and really play with it. I was going to give it to a relative, and then I changed my mind and decided that I wanted to keep it. And when my eyes are better, I'm going to go out and do a demo showing, because this particular one was made in around 1999, and I kind of want to do a demo of that machine, which was considered to be pretty top of the line in its time period, and compare it to both the Bounty Hunter and the Simplex, just so people can see how technology has changed. And then I'll decide what I'm going to do with it. Hey, that'll work. You know, that works, John. Like I said, that little $40 one, my friend Tom White and I had been talking about getting metal detectors and doing that, and then he had a stroke and passed away before we could do it. And I was really, really depressed. I had known Tom for over 50 years, and I was devastated when he passed. And my sister had this little bounty hunter that she had bought for her husband, hoping that he would. That is a strange looking 4 there. I don't know what's going on with that, if that's damage or. But I don't see on this 4 where the line ever came all the way down where it should. That's peculiar. So we're going to set that one aside for now. I got a little container here for oddballs. Anyway, my sister ended up giving me that little bounty hunter for my birthday because after Tom died, I just sat there in my living room and cried every day. And she knew that the metal detecting thing was something he and I had been planning to do for quite a while. So she gave me that little cheap bounty hunter. And when I went down to Florida, oh, there's a definite dug up out of the ground one. When I went down to Florida for his memorial service, I was staying in a motel that was by a park, and I had taken the little bounty hunter with me. There's another dirt dig. So anyway, I went over to this park the night before his memorial and took that little bounty hunter over there. And I ended up finding a gold ring. And it wasn't just any gold ring. What made it interesting was back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, I owned a stock car racing newspaper down in Florida. It covered all the short tracks in the state of Florida. And it was called the Oval Track Observer. Now, we had held a contest at the Observer for somebody to draw us a little cartoon mascot. And the winner drew this little dog that he named Otto, Otto. And so that was our mascot. Well, I am over in this park. I dig up this gold ring, and it's like a signet ring, and it had the name Otto on it, Otto. And I found it with that little $40 bounty hunter. So I have I just sat there on the ground just looking at this ring. Like I just could not believe what I had in my hand. That I had a ring with that name on it, 14 karat gold, that I found with a $40, basic little kid's play toy. And so that's kind of why I have kept that. And now my sister wants it back. And I don't know if I want to part with it or not. I have such sentimental attachment to it because of that find. And I know that's silly, but I also like the fact that it's a machine I can let kids try out, and I don't have to worry about any damage really being done to it. I mean, if they break it, it's not it's not going to be a big deal. So I have those, but my real detector that I use on a day-to-day basis is my simplex, and I really love it. I sold my Garrett 2 weeks after I got the simplex, and I must credit Metal Detecting NYC, Merrill, because Merrill recommended, knowing my income bracket and so forth, is the one that recommended that I get that simplex. And it has served me well. And then Muscle Shell, for an anniversary of my channel, bought me the other 2 coils and a replacement shaft, because of the one downfall of that machine is that the shaft is plastic, and now I have a metal one. But yeah, Muscle Shell, for my anniversary of my channel, really tricked my machine out, so I have all the attachments and everything. And I haven't really gotten to do a whole lot with them because I got sick. And so soonly I should be able to get out there when they fix my eyeball and really start doing some videos again where I can try all these different machines out, and I can try the different coils out. And ooh, there's a lovely. Think that one was in the dirt for a while. Don't know what it is. Yeah, I hear people all the time go, well, I don't know what to do with all these messed up Zinkins, and they won't take them at the store, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I just roll them up, take them back to the bank. I've never had a problem, as long as I put the right number of them in the roller. Unless they're like really bent up or something, the bank takes them back. So, but yeah, I need to cash in some of this stuff because I had some extra bills this month. Had to pay to change my name after my divorce on my driver's license, and also on my car registration, and I had to get my tags, and wore a hanky on your face. No, I remember when before Andy had his own channel, and he was one of my mods. Once in a while, he'd come up on the thing, and he wouldn't show his face. So I was happy when he finally got enough confidence where he would show his own face. I remember one of the first times Ravenhawk showed his face. He didn't for a long time. I just kind of took the attitude that I didn't care. This is who I am. I'm an old lady, and I kind of liked the idea that, hey, I'm not a kid, and maybe this will encourage some of the older people to not be so inhibited. Did I go on the Coin Tribe and Big Red Bullion was showing live? Well, then why'd you hide your face on Andy's? Were you afraid you'd outshine him or something? I was so happy Andy was in my stream yesterday. We don't get to, since he started his own channel, we don't really get to spend a lot of time. And he was like one of my very first mods. Actually, I think he was my second mod. Cherie Ward was my first one, and then she got a channel. I lost a lot of mods because they started their own channels later on. But that's okay. I have no problem with, I'm kind of the more the merrier. There's another one straight out of the dirt. A lot of funky pennies here. I'm mostly just trying to weed out the older ones because that's not a penny, that's a dime. Sometimes it's hard to tell with the ones you dug up out of the dirt until you get them under the scope because they're pretty chewed. And these are from different states. Some of them are from Florida. Some of them are from Georgia. Some of them are from Virginia. I mean, look at that one. That is a penny. Looks like a button or something, but it is actually a penny of some kind. Another one that's just ate up. And the different soils do different things to them. The ones pulled from the beach look very different than the ones pulled from up here in the mountains and the gravel. Like I said, about the only thing you can do with pennies like that is just send them back to the bank and try and get your penny back out of them. But I have like all these coins and they're just all mixed together. I don't really know what I have. I had a coin spill at one point, and we just swept up a whole bunch of them, and I think that's what was in one of these boxes. But they're always whining about this alleged coin shortage, so I'm gonna give them some really ugly ones back. They can have the ugly coins. I'm not gonna be giving them away, and I'm not gonna be putting them in my albums. So I'll cash them in and maybe use that money to get some better coins. No, actually, I'm gonna put that money in my account for my move, which will be coming. Okay, I got 82s I keep till I check them. But yeah, I still have every intention of returning to Michigan. So I will probably just put whatever I cash in from this in the Michigan fund. So, but yeah, I have a lot that look like that. I mean, they're just popping in to say hi. Well, thank you, Shelley. Much appreciated. If y'all would hit the like button while you're in here, I can use all the help I can get to. I'm trying to build my channel back up. When you're gone for 6 months, YouTube likes to take your people away from you, and they take away watch time, which I don't think that's fair. I understand taking away closed accounts. I do. But I don't think it's fair to take away watch time. Somebody legitimately used their time and watched something. It should count. You shouldn't be able to take that back. I just don't think that's fair. I'm doing that, Shelley. This is part of it, is me getting back into the swing of doing my shows. It's good for my mental health. I got very, very depressed when I could not see well enough to do my shows, and I was just too sick to sit here and do it. Oh, that one's got the crud. So I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to get my stuff reorganized and get back where I'm in the swing of things, and I believe that is going to help my mental health considerably. 68D. And it'll also give me a little bit more room to work. Because, man, this apartment is it's like almost half the size of where I lived when I lived down in Georgia. I'm kind of claustrophobic because it's so crunched up. I got some, there's a penny. I don't know what that one is. Another dirt one. I got some really nasty nickels. I don't know what these are. Stuff I dug up for sure. Can't even read that. Okay. Can't tell. Cannot really tell. I think it's a 75, but I think it's a go back to the bank. Clearly something that I dug up. Just like this one, something that I dug up. Some of them you just can't do anything with. Don't know. If I can't tell what they are, I just throw them back. Yeah, that's exactly it, Shelley. They look like something I should take to the coin store. But I'll just roll them up and take them to my bank. Speaking of the coin store, I had to go get a new phone because mine got broken a couple of nights ago. So someone I know took me over to Walmart, which is about the only place in our little dinky town where I could grab up a phone quickly. Well, while I was in there, one of their employees, I was using one of the Amiga electric carts because the store is pretty big and I just can't walk that far. Their electronics are all the way back in the corner. So on the way out, I decided I was going to go through produce and grab some lettuce so I could make some tacos. And their produce manager was not paying attention to what she was doing and slammed into the Amiga cart. I mean, really jolted me. And she slammed into it with a big cart full of produce. And she acted like, tried to act like she didn't even hit me. She didn't ask if I was okay or anything. Just moved the cart around me and proceeded to go on. And that kind of irritated me. And I'm a smart aleck. So I just looked at her and I said, gee, thanks a lot. That really felt good. And she got down in my face like I was a little 3-year-old and says, did you say something to me? And I said, yeah, I did. I'm wondering why you slammed into me like that and didn't even bother to ask if I was okay. She made a couple of other smart remarks. So I decided I was going to be a Karen, and I went up to the service desk and asked to talk to a manager. And so I'm sitting there waiting for the manager to come up, and I moved my little Amiga cart over to the side. And so I was over where the coin star was, and I looked over and I found $1.50 in the coin star. I found 5 quarters. They were all clad. I don't know why it rejected them. They were state quarters and national park quarters. And then I found 2 dimes and a nickel. So I found $1.50 in the coin star. So at least I got $1.50 out of that deal, which was I think that's the most money I've ever found in a coin star. I have found silver in them before, but I did find $1.50. So anyway, I reported her mostly because my thought was, what if, okay, she ran into the cart. She didn't look. She just went forward and slammed into my cart. But what if on the other side of that cart, instead of it being me sitting in a buggy, it was an old lady with a cane or a small child that she did not see? She could have seriously hurt somebody. And that was why I went up and said something, because if you're pushing around a cart like that with 50 to 100 pounds of merchandise stacked up on it, you got to look where you're going, because you could really, really hurt someone. Like I said, if she had hit a child as hard as she hit me, they'd have been calling for an ambulance. And that was why I took the time to go say, hey, you really need to tell this lady she needs to be watching what she's doing, because I don't want somebody getting hurt. That's a 41, and that is a 44. So we're getting into some older things now. Those are 50s, 45, 60, 60. I guess I haven't got any that old started yet. Well, we'll fix that. So yeah, I mean, I don't normally go and throw a fit, but she could have really hurt somebody, and that bothered me, because it actually hurt me. It slammed me back where my back hit right across the back of the seat of the cart, and I have 3 back injuries, so I wasn't kidding when I made the remark about it hurting me, because it did. Exactly. That was all I wanted, Shelley, was for her to go, "Oh, I'm so, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" Because I wasn't really okay. It hurt like the dickens. And I just thought it was so rude that she got down in my face and was talking to me like I was a small child, and was just incredibly rude. Had I not said anything to her, she would have just kept going and never even spoken to me, just acted like nothing had happened. And like I said, my concern was, if that had been, if she had slammed into a person rather than a cart, uh, there's no doubt in my mind that it would have drawn blood. Somebody would have been wounded. And she didn't act like that made any difference at all. And I thought, this lady's the produce manager. At first I thought she was just one of the people going around getting groceries for people. And then I realized, no, that's not the kind of cart she has. And it was the manager who advised me that that was the produce manager. And I'm like, wow, that lady shouldn't be managing anything with that attitude. No, I know they're not all like that. And this was not a young person either. This lady was probably in her 40s. This wasn't a millennial or whatever name they use for the young people. This was a middle, like in her 40s woman, which that even made it more aggravating to me. Somebody that age should know better. But like I said, the good part about it, found $1.50 in the Coinstar machine while I was waiting to turn her in for being rude. So that was kind of funny. Like I said, that's the most money I ever found in a Coinstar. Usually, my favorite find, and it's around here somewhere, is a piece of plastic play money that looks just like a real penny. And I found that in a Coinstar down in Georgia. And every once in a while, I'll find it again and stick it under the scope. Well, I don't know that she's going to be looking for another job, but a lady, one of the managers from the store, called me today to see if I was okay. And she's like, "Well, I can fill out an accident report and blah, blah, blah." And I said, "You know what? The report I'm more interested in you filling out would be a report reporting her for being negligent." I really, that's a pretty nice looking 61 right there. Um, I'm really more concerned about her hurting somebody than I am filling out some accident report that they're never going to do anything about. I'd rather they do something about her. And I know they're not going to, but that's what I told the manager anyway, was, hey, you know what? I don't care so much about the accident report, but I am going to have my doctor check me out. But I am more concerned about her attitude towards your customers. I said, because she's going to hurt somebody, and somebody's going to own a Walmart store. So, okay, this envelope is marked 1950s. So let's see what's in here. 56. Da, 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 da. I have all these little envelopes I have started, and I had them all neatly stacked, and they no longer are. 52, 54, 51. There's some 40s, 30s, 60s. I guess I don't have one yet for 1956. Right now, I'm just sorting them by the years, and then I will go back through, see if they go in my albums or in an album that I'm gonna give away, or if they're just so crappy that they're just gonna go back to the bank. But the other day I was in one of these boxes that I found, and there was a barber dime mixed in with all those pennies. So that alone makes it worth the search. I found a chunk of silver in there. I got some digging experience. There's a 56D. I don't have as much digging experience as I would like. I did get some years back when detectors first came out. My dad used to repair outboard motors, and he had a customer who needed a motor repaired and didn't have any money, and traded my dad. This was back in, I'm going to say, 1969, 1970. Traded my dad a metal detector for his repairs, and I would go with my dad. My dad would go fishing, and he would just, sometimes I would just stay up on the shore of the lake and take the metal detector and go out there. My dad found a real nice gold class ring, and there wasn't really any way for us to do a whole lot to try and get it back to the person who owned it, because of course there was no internet or anything back then. We did contact the school by mail, sent them a letter, and there were no initials, there was nothing in the ring. All we had to go on was the year and what color stone it was, but we thought maybe someone would have contacted the school and said, hey, I lost my class ring. If anybody contacts you, get a hold of me. But the school never even responded to our letter. So my dad took this ring, and it was 14 karat gold, and he took a file and he filed all the school name off of it, and just kept the ring, buffed down to just a gold ring. Had a really nice aquamarine stone in it, which was my birthstone. And my dad wore that ring until the day he died, and we buried him wearing that ring. But that was one of my first experiences with metal detecting. And we had that detector, I'm going to say, for probably about a year. And then my dad needed money for something, so he traded it off. And I was kind of heartbroken about that because I really enjoyed it. And then I did not own, I wanted to have one, but I did not own one for many, many years. And until I got the bounty hunter a few years ago from my sister. And I absolutely love metal detecting. For me, I can get out and just, it's very peaceful out there just wandering around. And I really, really enjoy it. And it's been hard for me to not be able to go. And I'm getting closer and closer to where I'll be able to start going again very soon. On the 10th, I go and get my pre-surgery exam on my eyes. So hopefully within a month or so, I'll be getting my surgery. And they said it only takes 3 to 4 days to recover from it. So I'll be able to get out there really soon and start detecting again. All right. I'm going to have to leave for just 1 second. I got to take care of something. And I'll be right back. So if anybody comes in, just tell them, hey, the old lady had to go to the bathroom. There you go, baby. Mama put some in. She's back. I had to feed the cat, too. He did not appreciate that his bowl was empty. So, there we go. All right. Have you checked with your local tax appraiser? I have found that just about everywhere I can get online and look up somebody's tax bill by address. Uh, it's kind of a matter of public record, and I go on and do that a lot to figure out who owns parcels of land that I want to detect. And one thing I've learned, and I'm one of the few detectorists I know that do this, but I have learned that I get better results if I write the people a letter when I do that rather than just going and knocking on their door, because a lot of times those are, you'll hit one that's a rental property and the renter cannot really give you permission to detect there. I've had much better luck writing letters on some of those, especially on some of the older, bigger properties, because I can put a sheet in there. I made this little sheet up that shows the process of digging the plug, removing the item, putting the plug back, so that the people actually have a visual in their head of what I'm going to do, and they know I'm not going to go and dig this big crater and leave holes all over their yard. And especially if it's an older property, I can emphasize in the letter, that I'm doing this to research the history of the area. And that seems to have more appeal than, hey, can I come look in your yard and see if I can find some valuable stuff? So I've gotten, especially in areas that have older properties, I've had some good luck with sending just I basically have the letter saved in my computer, and I just change the names and the addresses and stuff. But I will just send this letter, and then a lot of times I send a little postcard that they can just sign off on. That gives me permission, and then I have permission in writing. So if I'm out there and um, I'm digging and someone comes up, I can show them, hey, I have this permission in writing from the property owner. And I just like to get down from there, M. He's trying to get in the prize boxes again. But anyway, I like that, having the written permission. So my butt is covered if a cop shows up and says, what are you doing out here? Do you have permission from the owner? Well, yes, officer, I do. And I can show them the little card, and they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I have, I'll have the people's phone number and everything right there, because the town I lived in Georgia, almost everything around there was historic property. And I would get stopped. When I first moved there, I got questioned several times after the cops knew who I was and they knew how I operated. I rarely got questioned about where I was digging, but it's always good to have that little extra when you're in an area like that. I mean, pretty much our whole downtown area in that town was off limits unless you could get a written permission. So I just started doing things that way. Um, Shelley, where in North Carolina is Dig Stock going to be for the upcoming year? Say, I was supposed to go to Florida hunt, and I had my car reserved, everything, but I was not able to get my COVID vaccine on time, and Florida just had it running rampant. So I ended up having to cancel that. And so instead, I was supposed to go in April over to Virginia Beach and try to do this collaboration with the gig master. And then I got sick and I couldn't go to that either. And then in June, I had the pulmonary embolism, and I've been so, trying to recover from that. Working on my recovery from that, and I damaged my eye when I fell. So hopefully I'll get to participate in something this year. I'm hoping to do Florida before I move up to Michigan. I'm really hoping that works out for me. Uh, I was so heartbroken that I didn't get to go to Florida hunt. That just, and then I thought, well, it's not so bad. I'm going to go to Virginia Beach. And then I didn't get to do that. So I am very close to North Carolina. I'm right near the border of Virginia and North Carolina. Greenville. Oh, that's not that far from me. I could do that one. If I'm still here, and I should still be here, it just all depends on whether or not they have done my eye surgery yet. And I will find out on March the 10th when they're going to do that. So that one is a possibility. Thank you for the information, Shelley. Let me write that down here so I can keep track of that and also pass that information on to others who may want to go. I know a lot of people in that area. Let me get this 20 to 25. All right. Thank you for that info, Shelley. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. That's very helpful. I appreciate that. We'll try to help them out. 55. Boy, I got a lot of pennies. I can't believe all these pennies. I'm going to run out of these plastic bags, and I have hundreds of them. I'm just trying to sort stuff out, so then I can go back through and put them in my albums or give them away. Now, the Wheaties I will not send back to the bank, but and I have hit Wheaties now. Like I said, this envelope is nothing but 1950s wheat pennies. How do I keep losing my pen? I have so much crap on my desk. Oh my goodness. I just used the pen to write down the information for Digstock. And that quickly, I have lost my pen. Oh gosh. It's never a dull moment here at the place, I'm telling you. There it is. It's always something. No. Let me see. Boy, I can lose some stuff. Let me look that up. Get the, because I don't live anywhere near Virginia Beach. I'm 5 hours away from there. I'm on the other side of the state of Virginia. I'm between Danville and Bristol. Yeah, it's almost 5 hours for me. It is 140 miles from Virginia Beach to Greenville, which is about 2.5 hour drive. For me, let me put my location in. It is almost 4 hours to Greenville, but I would certainly make that drive to go to something like Digstock. And part of that is because I do have friends that live in that area. I have friends in Rocky Mount. I have friends that are just a little bit south of Raleigh. So I have, other people that I could go see while I make that trip. So that would be a really good one for me to try to make it to, because I would not be out there every day. I know my limits, so I would have to pick and choose which events of the event itself that I wanted to do, and then on other days I would probably go and visit my friends, because I do want to see those people before I move to Michigan, because in all likelihood that would be the last opportunity I would have to visit with them. Most of them are musician friends of mine that live in the Carolinas. 51. Uh, but yeah, that one I can see me doing. And Florida hunt, I'm gonna shoot for that one because I have family down there, and I was raised in Florida. So it's kind of the same deal where I have people down there that I would like to see before I head north again. And so those two I'm shooting for, because they're both scheduled before my move is scheduled. So I'm gonna, like I said, everything is dependent upon when they schedule the surgery on my eye. So we'll just have to see. And also, it's dependent on money. Money is a big issue. I don't have a lot to invest, so I have to plan very carefully how I do these, where I can be staying with friends or camping in my car or things like that, because I just don't have the money to go and invest in a week in a hotel or anything like that. I just can't. I could double up with somebody and make it work, but like I said, it's all dependent on a whole lot of things. I have to get all the stars in alignment to make it work. But at least if I know the dates, I can start trying to work towards that. Did I see IHP rolls? No, I did not. I wasn't in there very long. I had put some food on to eat, and once it came out and I ate, I sat down in my chair, did a couple of phone calls, and then I fell asleep in the chair. But at least I did not drown the cat like I did the other night. I fell asleep in the chair with a glass of tea in my hand and spilled it all over M3 and myself, and woke us both up, though. Yeah, we were wide awake after that. Wide awake. I cannot believe I have all these pennies. One of the boxes was labeled as coin rollers. I bet they did go high. Sometimes I think the stuff goes too high. People get caught up in the excitement of doing the bids, and they just really, or there's something that they really, really need to fill a hole in their collection, and they are willing to pay a premium to try and find it, especially when you're selling rolls. from an estate auction. Yeah. A lot of times that's where that kind of stuff comes from, and you have no way of knowing unless you just keep bidding and get it, whether what you want or need is actually in there. So I understand it. 57D. Like I said, I'm not spending a lot of time examining these. That one, the 5, actually looks a little peculiar. But right now I'm just sorting by date and getting them organized so then I can do the real search of them. But at least this way I'll know what I have, what I don't have, because I have some albums that are missing maybe 2 or 3 pennies or 2 or 3 nickels, and I would like to be able to finish those up, even if it's just with a placeholder. So, see, I have very few Indian heads, but one of the ones I've had since I was maybe 15 years old. And it was something that I got through that original metal detector. And it's kind of what got me a little bit hooked on the metal detecting, was finding an Indian head. Pretty early on in my detecting experience. And, when you're a kid, which I was like maybe 14, 15, that's really exciting to find something like that. So, yeah, I would have had a hard time not bidding on the Indian heads. That's why I stay out of those auctions like that, because I could get myself in trouble. I really could, because I have a book and it's missing so many that I would definitely want to be in there trying to fill my album. What does that say? 53D. Okay. 52, 57, 56. I don't have a bag for that either. Boy, I'm overwhelmed by the amount of pennies that I'm looking at. I can't even figure out a way to show you guys how many pennies are on my desk right now. But yeah, I would have definitely wanted to be bidding on those. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I did not go in there for too long. I would just really want to buy things that right now I just can't. And I would be very tempted to overextend my budget. So that's why instead I started working on this project, so I could actually see what I already have. There's no point in me investing in things I already own. So this was the smarter of the ways to spend my day. I'm really trying to watch my budget and accomplish my goal of moving for health reasons, and being able to at least hit one of the detecting events that I've been missing for the last 2 years. So, yeah, I had to force myself to not be in there. I get caught up in that stuff sometimes, and I just couldn't. I can't do it right now. I've got to focus on getting the money together for the move and for attending an event. And like I said, until I know what I actually have, I shouldn't be buying anything. Because a couple of times I have gone in the auctions and bought things and then gone to put them in the box and discovered I already have one of those. And it's nicer than the one I just bought. So, I mean, at one point in time, I think I had like 10 or 15 1909 VBDs, and I gave a bunch of them away last year. People were freaking out because I was giving those away. And I said, well, you know, I have so many of them, and the ones I'm giving away are not the best quality, but if you need one to fill your album, which a lot of people, that's the coin that they're always missing. So I didn't really feel bad about giving them away. I kept a couple really nice ones for myself and made a lot of people happy. So, that's part of it for me is I want to keep people excited about um collecting. And I know two of them that I gave away went to kids, and they just, you know, thought that was like I had given them free ice cream for the rest of their lives. I mean, they were just so happy, and that makes me happy. I'm not greedy. I have given away a ton of silver rounds, most of which I won on other people's channels, but I'm not a silver stacker. I'm a coin collector. If I really like the design of a round, I will hold on to it. I mean, I have some Krugerrands, and I have this really beautiful round from Austria that has musical instruments on it. Anything with musical instruments or most things related to World War II, I will hold on to as far as, pores. But in general, I'm more into coins, not stacking silver. That's just not my thing. Other people love it and they look at it as an investment, but I'm that's just not what I'm into. I am more into the history of the coins. I have some foreign coins. Mostly the ones I keep are from areas that were occupied by the US during the war. So it'll be like the Philippines, but then the other side will say United States of America. Or I do collect Mexican coins and German coins because I have a lot of friends who are of Mexican descent, including the band I work for, and I've always had a fascination with Mexico. And my mother's family is German, so that's my interest in the German coins. But mostly I tend to only keep foreign coins that are just extremely beautiful or have some connection to my personal family history. You'll see me giving away a lot of foreign coins. I get them, like I'll buy a lot of coins and they'll be mixed US and I have and foreign, and I go through them to pick out the Mexican and German stuff, and I usually end up giving the rest away, like I said, unless it's got a relationship to some sort of war occupation. Like I have several coins from the Philippines that were during US occupation, and I have kept those. But in general, I'm not super duper greedy. Yeah, the German Eagles are pretty cool. I gotta admit, they're some of their coins, the people that designed them, just incredible artwork. And most of them were stamped in a very high quality. It's pretty hard to find errors on older German coins. They just didn't make mistakes. I mean, once in a while you'd have a bad die, but their quality control was a lot better than ours. So one day I'll have to make a video and just show some of my Mexican and German stuff. I gave a few Mexican coins away the other night because I had like 3 or 4 of the same one. I just kept buying better ones and, trying to make my collection a little higher quality. So, let's see what all this is. Another bag here. This one's going to be boring. Oh, that's nickels. That's not pennies. I have a ton of nickels. Oh, here's some more containers of pennies back here. Holy cow. What we got here now? Whee! It's Wheaties. Well, some of it's Wheaties. Let me get the 50s off of here. Moved them over so I can see what I got in here. This looks like just a mixed container. We got a lot of that. Yeah, their quality is superior. I'm sorry, but I think the U.S. Mint has really gotten sloppy ever since they came out with the Zinken. Oh, what did I just drop? Whatever it was, it just came flying out of its... Yeah, this is interesting. I just dropped this on the floor and it fell out of its sleeve, but this is a Mexican coin that just jumped off my desk. This is a 1953 5 pesos, 0.6431 ounces. Is what it says on the sleeve, but on the coin it says 0.720. So I think the 0.6431 is actually the weight, and the 0.720 is the silver content. But check that out. That's pretty cool. It's got a snake in its mouth. Got the snake in the mouth on that one. Yeah, these I found in a box, and they belong over in my collection box. And then I also found this one. This is a 1913 Frankfurt, I believe, German check this out. I found these in a box with some pennies. I don't know how they got in there, but I was real pleased that those turned back up so they can get put in with my collection rather than being in a box of pennies where they have no business being. Oh, excuse me. Got a little heartburn tonight. But yeah, that's another one that turned up in this coin search. Like I said the other night, I found a barber dime mixed in with a bunch of wheat pennies in a box. Don't know how that got in there, but sure was glad to see it. You know, like I said, I just need to go through all these so I know what I have, and I'm not buying things I already have 10 of, and I can distribute some of them to other people that may need them in their little albums. Like I said, I especially like doing that for older people and kids. That's why I do the Lodo coin collecting show, is I want people on low incomes to be able to participate in the hobby, because it's a hobby you can do even if you are disabled and you're sitting at home. This is something you can do that's not going to cost you a fortune, and you can pass it on to your grandkids or whatever. My favorite is a lady that I got started down in Georgia, who her husband plays penny, nickel, dime, quarter poker every Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, she has her grandson to babysit. So they go through all of grandpa's winnings and put coins in her grandson's albums. And he just thinks it's like the best thing in the world. And his math skills have improved. His geography from working with the state quarters, all of his history grades have improved, and it's through messing with coins, going through his grandpa's poker winnings. And I just think that's great, if that keeps him interested in his studies. And he's like 9, and he's really smart, real smart kid. And he learned a lot of it from dealing with coins. Can't argue with that. So I think after I finish this stack, I'm probably going to quit for the night and retire. But I have gotten quite a number of them sorted today, making some real progress. Found some things I didn't know I owned. Found a bunch of things that can go back to the bank. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Bye, Jimmy. Hit the like button, please. Used to be that thumb meant you were hitchhiking. I guess I'm hitchhiking my way through the coin galaxy now on the UB2B. But it works. Yeah, I was trying to stay up until 11:30 or 12, because I normally try to get up at 7, and I've been waking up at 4:30. And that's not, and then I can't get back to sleep. So I have been trying to stay up later each night until I can get myself dialed back in to a better wake up time. And my goal has been midnight, because I set my alarm for 7, but I don't always get up until about 8. So that's an 8-hour sleep, and that's really all I need. I don't need to be getting up at 4 o'clock. So like I said, I've been working on trying to adjust my going to bed time, because I was going to bed at like 7 o'clock, 7:30, and then trying to sleep till 7 a.m., which is 12 hours, and that wasn't happening. I would wake up around 4, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So, like I said, I'm going to finish this stack here, which will probably get me to about midnight. And I've already taken all my meds, so I should be able then to sleep through until 7 a.m. And if I do this every night, I should be able to get back to my regular sleeping pattern. But when I had the embolism, it just, it totally messed up my whole sleep pattern. And this is what the doctor told me to do, so this is what I'm doing to see if I can get back some sort of normalcy. We'll see if it works, because just waking up at 4 and then not being able to go back to sleep, it's just not good for my health. So California sleep schedule. Yeah, well, I think that's my problem, is I'm on the wrong time zone sleep pattern. Hey, Benji! Oh, I'm just sorting through. I found 4 boxes of assorted coins the other day, and I've been trying to sort them out because I don't even know what I have. And a lot of this needs to just go back to the bank. Some of it needs to go in the little albums. Some of it needs to be given away. Some of it, it's just there. I found, yeah, you missed it earlier, during day 9 of the 12 days. One of the things I found in the box the other day was a 51, I think a 51 Benji. Anyway, I gave away a Benji earlier today that was an extra that I found in one of these containers. So, truthfully, though, I do not know what I even have. So, after I do my regular shows, I'm just kind of going through these things, sorting them out, figuring out what to do with some of this stuff. And since I can't see very well, it has been to my advantage to use my microscope, which is hooked up to my StreamYard. So I figured, well, I might as well just turn the stream on, and you guys can see what I'm turning up at the same time I'm seeing it. So, and like I said, I found a Benji. I found a barber dime mixed in with a bunch of pennies. So that was a fun discovery. And I figured, my doctor wants me to try to get my sleep pattern in order, so this is helping me stay up rather than just go crawl into the bed. It's giving me something to do. So that's what's happening right now, is I'm just looking for treasure. Hunting treasure. Yeah, I found in one of the boxes full of pennies, I found a Mexican coin, 1953, and I found one of my German coins that had gotten misfiled in a box of pennies. So, yeah, and what ends up happening is, if I don't put these things away where they belong, and then I'll be in an auction and I'll see something and go, ooh, I want I want that, and then I'll buy it and find out I already had that. So it's time for me to make some sense out of this nonsense, so that I'm not wasting money doing that kind of thing. It's just, like I said, it's therapeutic also, just to be able to get an idea of what I got. Found a Jamaican 25-piece. Oh, yeah, I remember you found that when you were searching nickels. And I thought that was really cool, because I have been, one of the coins I have, and I found it recently. It's in a sleeve. And I went to Jamaica back in 1974, and I brought a few Jamaican coins home that we just didn't cash in. And I found one not too long ago that I had kept from my personal trip to Jamaica. So that was kind of a neat thing to find. It was just, I found a penny and a dime, but it was just really cool to find a foreign coin from a trip that I actually took. 56D. So I've been finding things that, even though they may not necessarily have major value, that it has value to me, because I went there. I brought that coin home with me. And at that time, I had not really been outside the US much. So it was pretty neat that I had held on to some coins. 50D. I don't think I have an envelope for that yet. Nope. So anyway, once I finish the stack I have here, which is probably another 20 or so pennies, then I'm gonna stop for the night. But by then it will be really, yeah, I went in the 70s, and politically things were really hot. And I know it was 1973, because we went to Negril, which was not particularly developed back then. And not too long before we went there was when the Rolling Stones had stayed at this hotel that was up the mountain a little ways, and they had done some of the recording for the Exile on Main Street album, and that was one of the things we wanted to see, where that had been recorded. And they were trying to develop Negril at the time, that there was a great deal of political unrest, and every time the construction workers would come during the day and they would start building on this stuff, then at night, the people that lived there, and also an area called Red Ground, which was close by, the people would come down and they would strip all of the construction materials off the buildings and take them to fix up their little shacks with. Um, we traded away most of what we owned. Um, there was a little school there, and they didn't have any books or anything. And I had like 2 or 3 magazines that were in my carry-on luggage. And a lot of, I didn't realize, but a lot of the information was being censored there because they were having a lot of political unrest. And the school teacher uh, traded me all kinds of things for 3 magazines, um, because they had articles in them that were about the political unrest, but they also just had things that the kids could read. They didn't have any books. The other thing they wanted was our jewelry and our clothes, like Levi's. Um, and we traded for like fresh lobster, and we traded for our rent for our rooms. We basically didn't spend any money when we were there because we were trading our stuff to the people that lived there, which is one of the reasons I still had money when I came home, was because we weren't really spending that much. We, like I said, we're trading for just about everything. And I went with a male friend of mine that was just a friend. He wasn't a boyfriend or anything, but I felt quite safe going with him. It was someone I worked with, and I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go by myself, especially because they were having political unrest. And I am still friends with that guy to this day. He is on my Facebook page. And not too long ago, I was on his Facebook page and discovered he's a metal detectorist. Doesn't surprise me a bit, you know. Uh, but yeah, I was real tickled when I ran across those Jamaican coins, and I had even made a note on the sleeve they were in that those were coins from my trip. So I was just so happy to find that kind of stuff. When you start sorting through things to move or just to pare down what you own, and you find little things like that, it it kind of surprises you that you would have kept this item. But sometimes it's just, I not too long ago had found a little photo album that had maybe 10 or 12 photographs from that trip. And so then I found the coins a couple of months later. And so I've kind of pulled the coins out of my coin collection and put them in the back of the photo album so that the whole thing is kind of kept together. Walt Money's bag. So it's been fun going through these boxes. Like I said, the boxes were totally mislabeled. One of them said coin holders on it, and there were no coin holders at all in that box. There was nothing in there but pennies and nickels, and I mean pennies and nickels. A lot of pennies and nickels. And so that's the purpose of this exercise, is to find out what is in there. Like I said, I never thought there was a barber dime in there, or silver coins from Mexico. There's just been all kinds of things that have turned up. So I figure if I work on it a little bit each night, I will get my sleep pattern back where it belongs, and B, get this stuff organized where I know what I have and I'm not purchasing items I do not need, and I can give away a bunch of stuff that I don't need, or I can deposit it in the bank and get it off my desk. So there's a multitude of different options for distribution of this stuff, and they're all good. They're all good options. There's no bad in this exercise. Come on, there's the one I need. And so, oh, Mikey, you did it again. So what did you win for me, Mikey? What'd you win for me? You always win. It's not fair. Oh, dear. All right, I will be right back. I gotta do something real quick. Oh, dear. Mikey can tell us what he won. All right, sorry about that, guys. I heard a crashing sound and didn't know what it was. And at first I thought M3 had knocked something down, but it wasn't M3. He was just sleeping back here. Turns out a picture that I had rehung today decided it didn't want to be where I put it, and it fell off the wall. But it made a pretty loud noise, and since it's almost midnight, I thought I better go investigate. 53 something. I don't know what that says. Figure that one out later. I'm sure that's something I dug up, judging by what it looks. Could be a ghost. I don't know. But it was loud, and we have what they call quiet time here in the building, which is anything that makes noise after 10 o'clock. I have a neighbor that he complains about everything, any little noise. So I need to know what caused the noise in case he files a complaint. Then I can tell the manager, well, I was sitting in the living room and I heard a boom and I went in and the picture had fallen off the wall. So beyond my control, I wasn't like dancing on the ceiling or something. Just wanted to make sure I knew what it was. 1942. Okay, 45, 45S, 42S, 46, 47, 41, 44. I do not have an envelope for just a run-of-the-mill 42. Yeah, I just had to make sure what it was. So Mikey's over there cleaning out big flips tonight. Congrats. I haven't won anything for a while, and I think the last time I won anything, it was on Michael Kittle's channel a while back. That seems to me like the last person I remember getting anything from. So, and a lot of that, I used to win fairly often, but then when I got where I couldn't see, I can't follow the live streams very well because of what's going on with my eyes. So if you can't be in the streams, you really can't win. So I haven't won anything for a while. Oops. Well, I'll be picking that up off the floor tomorrow. I'm not getting down there tonight crawling around looking for an 82. 56. Yeah, once I get these all sorted out, then I'll get my albums out and see if any of them fit in the spaces. And then I'll go from there. Here we go. Just decide what to do with the rest. Oh, I had an interesting thing happen today, kind of like your microwave deal. My phone got broken a couple of days ago. I was I was supposed to be changing carriers, and so the technician was switching the SIM card from one carrier to the other, and somehow when he put the new SIM card in the little plastic holder and slid it into the phone, the plastic holder for the SIM card broke and it jammed the new SIM card down into the phone and damaged the phone where it would not read any SIM card. So I ended up having to get another phone. One of my friends down in Florida sent me some money so I could get a phone. Because of my medical stuff, I have to have one. So we finally got the new phone working, which took quite a while because I had to figure out how am I going to call them and have them switch my number and everything over if I don't have a phone that I can dial out on. And my brother reminded me that I have a Google Voice number. So I used that and I got the phone switched over to the new one. And I had put the old one, which is giving a reading of no SIM because it won't read the SIM card. But I had put it on the charger so I could charge it up enough to erase the info off of it. And so I'm sitting here today, and one of the medical transports that I used called me, and both phones rang. The new one was ringing, the old one was ringing. And I was like, why is this old phone ringing when we tried for 3 days to get it to work? Well, my brother holds 14 or 15 patents that are all related to how cell phones work. Um, well, that's why I was doing what I was doing, Mikey, is I have somebody I can sell the old phones to that does go in and get the gold out of them. But I wanted my data off of it before I took it to him. And so this phone is ringing and it shouldn't be. So I called my brother because he basically is one of the reasons we actually have cell phones. Like I said, he holds, I think, 15 patents, all related to how cell phones work and cell phone towers work. And he asked me if, because I was freaked out. I'm like, why is this thing ringing? And he said, well, some of the newer phones uh, will operate if you have Wi-Fi turned on. And the Wi-Fi was turned on, and that's why it was ringing. I couldn't answer that phone, but it rang because it was picking up on the Wi-Fi. Freaked me out. I'm like, why is this phone ringing? I just had to spend, you know, well over $200 for a refurbished phone, and now this one's going to ring. But it still wouldn't let me answer it, and it won't read a SIM card. So I did finally get it charged up enough that I can go in and delete the info off of it. I just don't want to sell. I have a bag of them, of broken phones here, to take to this guy, and he buys them and actually does the recycling and takes the little bit of gold out of them. But that way, I get a little something back on it because they can't fix it with. Well, they could fix it, but it would cost me more than buying the new phone did. Oh, here we go with another one. Somebody please remove Leslie Young and that spam link. Would you? Would you? Could you? If John Jacobs is still in here, I know you're a mod. You can boot that. I've been all day getting them. I don't know what it is, but they are out in force today with the nasty I hate scumbags. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Just, they're so annoying. Alright, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I got him out of here or not, but I all day today, I must have had 10 or 15 of them, Benji. I mean, just all day. And we'd block them, and then they'd come back in with a name that was one letter different than the one we had just thrown out. And I had them in my Christmas show, and then later on I came back on and was just sorting pennies, and they were in there. Like I said, I've had 10 or 15 of them. Actually, Mikey, I tried that and it would not even let me take their name off the list. I had to completely restart the Nightbot to get them out of there. They're getting more sophisticated, and I'm going to talk to my brother about it, because my brother, like I said, he wrote a lot of the software and created some of the hardware that relates to cell phones. And I'm going to tell him about the problem I'm having and see if there's something that he, some little piece of code or something that he can write. Oh, yeah, all day today. It was horrible. This is the worst I have seen them in a long time. I will occasionally get one or two in a 2-hour show. But today, they were slamming me every 2 or 3 minutes, and I couldn't get them off the Nightbot unless I went back and completely got all the way out of Nightbot. I mean, like I said, they're getting more and more sophisticated with how they're doing what they're doing, and it's really annoying when you're trying to do family friendly and you have these butt wipes coming in doing what they're doing. It's just not, I'm not happy about it, because sometimes I don't have a bunch of mods. Sometimes I may only have one mod, and it's really hard to catch them. And my eyes being as bad as they are right now, it's, it's just hard for me. And so I really, really appreciate my mods even more now, because they are my eyes. Literally, they are my eyes until I get my surgery. So, yeah, they really do, Mikey. Because once you've reported somebody posting a certain link, it shouldn't matter what account that's coming from. They should just make it where that link cannot be cannot be posted anymore because it's been reported. If it, I'm not the only one reporting that person. And Yeah, I think that is a flaw in how YouTube is handling the spam links that are being posted. Instead of going after the username, they need to be going after the link itself and just saying, okay, we're blocking this link. You know, this link cannot be posted anywhere on YouTube anymore. So, uh, I agree with you, Mikey. That's what I'm going to ask my brother about, because like I said, he had a lot to do with the reason we have cell phones. He wrote a lot of the code that uh, makes cell phones possible. He also invented some of the actual hardware that is used in cell phone towers and cell phone signal transmission. And my brother's a real smart guy. And sometimes I get a little PO'd. I see people bad mouthing boomers. Yeah, well, guess what? A lot of the stuff that the younger generation has, they have because of us old boomers. And one of those things is cell phones. Of course, another one's rock and roll, but electric guitars. I mean, there's so much stuff that was created by my generation, and a lot of those items are taken advantage. You know, they're just the work that went into creating them is not appreciated by the people that are now using them. They think it's perfectly acceptable to come in and ruin everybody's streams. And all right, I did keep going with another stack, but I'm down to about 6 on these, and then I really am going to bed. Hopefully no pictures will fall on my head. I had another odd thing like that happen years ago. One of my friends had passed away, and I was putting his things in storage for his family. And one of the items was a little boom box that he had. There were no batteries in it. There was no CD in it. There was no power going to it. It was just lying in the back seat of my car. And I got to the storage facility and I was putting his things in. And all of a sudden, music starts coming out of this little boombox. And it was Grand Funk Railroad doing Some Kind of Wonderful. Now, like I said, there were no batteries in this thing. It was not plugged in. There was no CD. I have no earthly idea how that happened, but it played about a minute and a half of Grand Funk's Some Kind of Wonderful. Now, that is significant to me for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is that I work for a band who one of their members left to become the bass player for Grand Funk Railroad, who are from Flint, Michigan, by the way, which is the area from which I lived right around there, and Sir Benji lives there. And I'm going to be going back there, but I just thought I have never been able to figure out why that song started playing out of a machine that had absolutely no power going to it. And it just, things like that happen. And I have no explanation for them. Okay, this is my last penny. Let's see what this one is. 42. I just had a 42. Alrighty. I have a pile of plastic bags on my desk. And I'm only keeping in the bags. Mostly, I think the newest ones are 73s, and the only reason I kept those is because they're 73S. So I'm keeping anything with an S on it. But I have a huge stack, and I still have boxes and bags to go. But I have made it to midnight, so I am going to retire now. I think I have done a pretty darn good job of getting a start on these pennies. The oldest one that I have found so far in this batch of stuff is a 1920 wheat penny as far as the pennies. The actual oldest coin was when I found the barber dime a couple of days ago. But no, actually, that was not the oldest. Here is the barber dime that I found mixed in with the pennies, and it's a 1913. There we go. Oh, and I did save a couple of 73Ds to study later. But yeah, I found this barber dime in a box of pennies. It's not in the best shape, but it is silver. So it is what it is. And earlier I showed Mexican. I dropped it on the floor and it fell out of its little sleeve here. So let me see what year. I think it was a 53. I'll put it back under real quick. I found this in a penny box. It is a 1953 5 pesos. And I also found a German 1913 3 marks in the same box full of pennies. I don't know how they got in there, but I need to put them where they belong. And so I'll be taking care of that tomorrow. And just all kinds of odd things that I have found in boxes where they didn't belong. There's another dime that I found. This one's a 1905. So found a number of stray coins that were in places they did not belong, mostly German coins and Mexican coins. So I'm not wasting my time by doing this by any means. And like I said, it's helping me reestablish a more normal sleep pattern. So on that note, I'm going to go to bed, and I have put probably 2 inches worth of assorted coins in the bottom of a mason jar. Those are all coins that are just going to go back to the bank. So tomorrow, well, actually later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing my Lodo coin collecting show combined with day number 10 of the 12 days of Christmas. Now, do keep in mind there are actually 13 days in that giveaway, because after the 12 days, you have the following day, which is the Epiphany, and that's when all of the leftover prizes plus a whole bunch more stuff will be given away. There's definitely silver and stuff in that one. So, yeah, I'll try to be here at 5 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. We're supposed to get 4 to 6 inches of snow, which will be our first snow that we've had all winter. So I will have time to go through some more of this stuff. And we will be giving away a bunch of groovies. So I'm going to go to bed now. Y'all behave. Mikey, go win me some more stuff. You know my address. You can just send it right on over. Thanks for hanging out with me. Y'all hit that thumbs up button if you would. Just out of curiosity, let's see. I got 10 likes. No, I'm sorry. I got 11 likes just for sitting here sorting through my change. So that's pretty awesome. Good night, everybody. Thank y'all for hanging out. If you're not subscribed to me, which I think most of you are, but if you're not, do that. And we will catch y'all later on. Good night, everybody. Ooh, 13. Well, that was just I'm lagging a little, so that's awesome. Good night, gang. Thank you.